Hello and welcome to Is There Something in This, the podcast where I, Scott Dooley, and he, Jason Chatfield, invite you into our writer's room as we come up with jokes that we write for the New Yorker cartoons.
And other publications.
Yeah,
how you going?
Yeah, I'm well. How are you?
Good. How's week 4 of fatherhood?
Yeah, good.
I said week 2 when I walked in the door and I was wrong.
And I've never felt more complimented on how I look.
You definitely have a 2-week...
2-week glow.
Glow is what I'm trying to say.
A mate of mine has a kid. He goes, dude, you're not going to have bags under your eyes. You're going to have luggage.
That's fair.
It's not
That's
right.
fair. I've
How
heard that
about you?
before. Yeah, no, good. I am child-free and have had plenty of sleep. So the disparate, the distance between these two levels of, let's call it apnea, is different.
Can we have a quick tattoo update? Because the last few days you've come in with things drawn on you and they're tattoo designs that you're trying out on your own arm.
Yes, first-time listeners, I'm an inveterate self-scribbler. So I've always loved watch faces. So big fan of more of the classic, let's call them timepieces because I'm pretentious.
You're a stickler for horology.
Yes, there you go. That's even more pretentious. So yes, this week, and they're like 2-week markers. They stick around for about 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks. So I've drawn what I don't mind the watch face. I like the circle design. And then on the other end, it's sort of a throwback to Perth. It's sort of a triangular meets wave meets.
Sure, I can't see that one.
Bit of a mess. This one. It's a garbage fire. And on my right arm, I've got some the Fibonacci sequence with that Japanese wave pattern.
Right.
Which,
And
I'm just constantly...
And underneath it says there's going to be a red wave marga 2024.
Exactly. How did you know? You can't even see it. That's a magic trick.
Just had a feeling.
You're like a mentalist. So I'm constantly just like rotating through different ideas.
Your overturned reverse wave chest piece I thought was in bad taste. The picture in particular, which I can't even get into. But
listen, it's multiple colours as well, which is fun. I mean, you actually went ahead like a full grown up and got one, and it's there for life. I was like 20. Yeah, but still,
which is the age you do that without thinking it through.
Yeah, not 39. Where I'm at, so I'm a little late to the game, but I do I've been scribbling on myself since I'm 15 years old, but I'm enjoying the process.
Are tattoos at your age is this the crisis you have when you can't afford the Ferrari?
Yeah, pretty much. I think tattoos are the midlife crisis of the broke.
Of the broke, yeah.
But even that, I was talking to, I don't know.
Because I've been like, you know what, I should get another tat.
Oh my God. I was talking to Caitlin Reese, she's a comic. I was talking to her after a show on Saturday night, after Picture This, and she has like 55 different tats from all these different artists all over her body. She's a very heavily tattooed comedian. And she was sort of walking us through all the different ones and the process and the artists. And then one, she paid like a deposit. And then when she went in, she realized she didn't really like their work. And they were like, well, we have to keep the deposit. She's like, screw it, do it then. So she just got the bad tattoo because of sunk cost bias.
Listen,
she didn't want to lose the 200.
I'm not saying that this does play into the stereotype that people who have tattoos may be short-sighted in decision making, but that's not hurting the stereotype.
Fair, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I was trying to get pointers.
Ruin my life or have $70. You mustn't think I came down in the last shower.
Is it weird now, to have tattoos as a younger, in people in their 20s? Are they getting tattoos, or
the
are they
stakes are lower because they're more easily removed, in my opinion.
How I didn't even know that was possible.
Well, I don't know. I'm just going on Pharrell was covered in tats, and now he's not.
Yeah, okay. So they're not getting sleeves that disappear after 4 weeks.
The sleeve has aged it's like a genre of person that you're like, oh my God, I remember. You know when you see them with their flat brimmed Fox Racing caps. And
did I pitch this already? And this is just before we get into plugs. This is a taste.
A little moose bouche.
Amuse bouche. It was a big tattooed guy with a sleeve and lots of tats all over him. But he's really ripped and he's saying, my body's a temple. Also a sketchbook.
Oh yeah,
is that a thing? I don't know if that's something. Maybe.
I wrote a joke. I wrote a joke for a friend of mine who, she's a really funny comedian. She's very bawdy. I won't say what her name is, but I wrote a joke for her, which was, "My body's a temple. I like to fill it with Jews on fried cheese. She's dating quite a prominent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is she Jewish?
No, but her boyfriend was.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Great gag.
Should we do some plugs?
Let's do some plugs, intermittent, sort of interspersed with gags that you've written about the
I do
news
topical
of the
jokes
week.
to try to keep the plug seem less pluggy.
Yes. Okay. Well, why don't you start with the first joke? Or would you like me to do the first plug?
I think you do the plug and then I'll do the joke.
Okay. This week I'm plugging toonstack.substack.com, which you can find on cartoonstock.com now, as well as Substack. Go to toonstack.substack.com, sign up. You get a cartoon from 6 different cartoonists all at once on the same topic and a little bit of writing about each one.
President Joe Biden is facing criticism from Donald Trump's campaign and religious conservatives for proclaiming March 31, which this year corresponded with Easter Sunday, as Transgender Day of Visibility. Caroline Leavitt, the Trump campaign's press secretary, called on Biden to apologize to Catholics and conservative Christians before noting that love and acceptance have no place when reflecting on the life of Christ.
I have a Trump Bible joke this week.
Oh, do you?
Bit of
great,
sizzle.
Great.
Join Broadway and TV actors Amelia Cormack and Alison Gwynn as they sing the traditional murder ballads, tell their true crime origin, and then write their own ballad about each story. If you love true crime, folk music, and spooky folklore, this podcast is for you. Friend of the show, Amelia Cormack.
In the wake of the Baltimore Francis Scott Key Bridge disaster, which saw a cargo ship lose power and subsequently ram and destroy the bridge, a series of recommendations have been handed down to increase bridge safety around the US. The number one recommendation, don't drive a ship into the bridge. Cost them millions.
Signs, just everywhere. Signs on the bridge.
Don't drive ship here.
Don't drive ship here. Did we talk about my father-in-law's obsession with bridges?
No.
We call him Jeff Bridges. His name is Jeff. We call him Jeff Bridges because every time he can't walk past a bridge without going, oh, isn't that fabulous? He's a metallurgist. He can't look at
What's
a bridge.
What's a metallurgist?
Someone who used to work at One Steel. He used to, like an engineer.
Oh, right. You made it sound like it was a bridge fetish.
Well, kind of is. We can't go anywhere without him touching or like admiring a bridge. We have to stop the train.
He must lose his mind in Paris.
He did, yeah. He lost his mind in Paris and in upstate New York. We have to
Madison County.
Every stop. We have to check out the
Does
bridge.
he like that book?
He did like that book. But
he was like, they don't describe the bridges enough. It's too much about this relationship.
Bridge too far. By the way, that podcast I was just recommending, idiotically. Amelia. It's called Some Dark Holler, as in some dark holler for our American listeners. Great pod. I've listened to it. It's fantastic.
I went to primary school with Amelia.
Did you know that?
Primary school?
Elementary school with Amelia Cormack. Well, now you're both New Yorkers with kids. Wild. If you love to talk about Banjo Patterson, get into that pod. It's very niche audience.
Is that the invitation you think it is?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if anyone knows.
Hey, if you want people talking about a guy you've never heard of because you're American, and this is the podcast for you.
What a great name Banjo Patterson is. Okay, join your old mate Jason Chattoo Chatfield as he delves in to the creative process behind the idiocy of being a cartoonist and comedian in New York City in his weekly Substack called NewYorkCartoons.com.
Iran has blamed Israel for an airstrike that killed senior Iranian military commanders near Tehran's embassy in Syria. Israeli officials apologized for the strike, saying, "This was a grave mistake. We honestly thought it was a children's hospital." We didn't realize it was an embassy. We're sorry.
Is that your third one in a row?
We didn't mean this.
Oh my God. Okay.
Did you see the joke? I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast about the horrible events that happened in Moscow where all those people got shot at the concert hall.
Right.
And ISIS claimed responsibility. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just how readily we just take their word for things. Like we're like, these are the worst people in the world, but they're not liars. You know, they'd never lie.
They'd never lie, though. That's a good point. Never thought about that. ISIS, what does it stand for again? Was ISIS? Is it an acronym or is it just...
Islamic State, isn't it?
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, good on them. Okay. Yeah, no lies. It's just
What, maybe you're a bit down on the name.
It's like a stinger. It's like,
Word
no
is-
lies, just death.
Word is bond.
Word is bond. You can find prints of New Yorker cartoonist Adam Douglas Thompson at adamdouglasThompson.com. Cartoons, paintings, and more.
And in sport, the Los Angeles Times has edited a column it published last week about the LSU women's basketball team ahead of its game against UCLA, following criticism from Tigers coach Kim Mulkey, who blasted the article as sexist and hurtful. The editor of the LA Times responded in a press conference saying, while we disagree with Coach Mulkey, she's probably just emotional because it's that time of the month. I don't think they got it.
I don't think they got it.
He called someone from the press corps jiggles. It was disgusting.
Toots. Did I talk about last week about going to a burlesque showcase in the Lower East Side?
You told me you did. I don't know if you told
privately.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and I met in New York City when we were both living in the East Village, I think.
Sure.
It's sort of Alphabet City.
Yeah.
And I think it was on the steps of Sing Sing, which is not a prison. It's a karaoke club on Avenue A.
It is.
And right below it, I didn't know this, there's a very iconic music, jazz, burlesque venue called Drom, D-R-O-M. Turns out, great place to go and watch burlesque and get yelled at aggressively if you don't have the right kind of ticket.
Is this one of these kind of like
old New York?
You should know this.
You should know this. $25 for scathing insults, on the drinks list behind the bar.
There's something very disconcerting being yelled at by someone with a feather boa.
Yeah. Except if,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it just feels like you should be more jolly.
Yeah, you look
And
like
I'm not
you
saying
should
that
be more
because
jolly.
burlesque artists are predominantly fat. But they are.
Not all of them, but
No, but a good portion.
sure. Okay, so...
Burlesque people are humorless about burlesque.
Oh, do you mean they take it very seriously? In the way that
Humorless.
comedians who are not funny are humorless about comedy?
Well, in a way, but like that thing of like if you're like, oh, it's like stripping but with like arts and crafts. It's not. Like they get really like they can't. Their hackles are up if you talk about
Sure.
burlesque. I guarantee you, someone's going to write. And be like,
Oh, I
"Yeah,
know.
not all but-"
Well, the reason I know this is that I wrote a scathing review of this venue, of this thing I went to with some friends last weekend. And
On Yelp.
No, on Substack. That'd be funny if it was on Yelp. And I wrote it on Substack. And so, I guess it got back to the people who were on the show and the people who were in attendance and the venue itself. And they're all reaching out through Instagram and through email and stuff.
What are they saying?
Well, I thought they would be furious. I thought they would be so angry, livid. They were asking for the originals of the sketches I made.
Oh, really?
They were honoured.
They were high kicking their way
yeah,
to rudeness.
It was amazing. And to be clear, it really was the people who ran the show that were awful. The venue were fucking awful people. Just like
This
genuinely.
was like a week and a bit ago, and you're still angry about it.
It's seething. You can read it about it on my Substack. But there was a woman. I was calling her Madame Drom. Because she was like corralling us to this like square of cement, and then when we tried to get a drink, she'd like knock her hand away and push us back. And then Hillary, who was trying to do some dancing, tried to get a drink, and they said no, dancers drink last. Which I don't know if that's a rule.
That's from the nobody puts baby in a corner kind of script writing.
And then Sophia Warren was there and she's trying to get some fries and they're like, no, you need to give us your firstborn and open a mortgage. It was just like all of it was just so unnecessarily complicated and it ruined the whole vibe.
I just feel like you getting this worked up about this stuff is cultural appropriation of my kind of my hair
You're fair.
trigger.
Well, you haven't been out of the house.
My
I've
hair
had to.
yeah.
You've outsourced your microaggressions to me.
Because now I go out like I had to go to the dentist today, and I had to go to the city, and that was and I am now.
my God.
I've now become
You're Larry
because
David.
I've got a kid, so I don't leave the house. Right, that's
Sure.
why we're doing this.
You're also a shut-in.
But I'm now like You know when a rich person takes public transport?
Oh my God.
And the whole story is about, so we decided to get the bus into the city. And,
You wouldn't believe it.
You know what? It's actually really good. That's what I'm like with the train now.
You clearly didn't take the L.
I was like, I saw a chap who had he had two different types of coloured hair on his head. It was fascinating. Hey, I've got some jokes for you.
Let me ask you, is there anything in your jokes? What have you got for me?
Okay. So I went to the dentist. So I've got two dentist ones.
Fantastic.
One which I think is either going to work or it's not.
Okay.
And the other one I want to talk to you about because it might not be a dentist thing.
Sure.
The first one, classic dentist, someone lying down, going in with drills and whatever. And the caption is, this will only hurt a lot.
That's good. That's good. I wasn't expecting. It's a misdirect. Classic misdirect.
So you know how you see a lot of like painless dentistry is kind of
My guy is that guy.
Yeah. I was thinking about someone coming out of painless dentistry looking injured and then kind of saying to a friend, it's not true. She said I'd never make it as a dancer. But I don't know how to like get that across without it being so hacky.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking to the wrong person because I'd love to draw that. I don't give two shits about it being hacky. But
Or is it like
if we're
false
trying to get it
advertising,
published,
courthouse kind of?
Yeah, I think painless, like pain-free, painless. There's something there. There's something in the misadvertising of painless dentistry, which is an oxymoron. I do know that it's very popular, like it's as a selling point because people just hate the dentist. Anything to do with the teeth, anything to do with the mouth, they're terrified of the pain associated with that many nerves.
And pain-free dentistry is true to anyone that was born in like 1955.
Sure.
Because they know what it was like.
Yeah.
Like in the 60s when you're a
Pre-Novocaine.
child and someone's just like punching your tooth and it just hurt. Well, you might have to get it out.
Yeah, Novocaine really, people don't realize how recent Novocaine was as a thing that people just used in dentistry. And yeah, I think using the pain-free thing and flipping it with like a different kind of pain. There's something there about like pain-free. What was the line again? What was the caption?
It's not true. She said I'd never make it as a dancer. or is the caption like, she said I'd never have a dancer's body?
I think never make it.
Make it as a dancer is more hurtful.
If it's in New York, if it's set in New York as well, if it's clearly like on Broadway or something, like, it's on
or is it funnier
47th and Broadway.
In like a
rural Ohio. She said I'd never make it as it's like a cement old building. Just
you can just see the high school football.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the setting. She said I'd never make. You can see the town hall in the background made out of wood. Yeah, that might be it.
Seems like a weird material slam.
No, I've been to many towns in America on tour where the town hall is still made out of fucking mahogany. So how does that, is it a female or a male? Is it Black Swan?
I haven't thought about that at all.
I think it's relevant to the gag.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe I
think it's funnier if it's a guy.
It's a dude.
Yeah, I think it's funnier if it's a guy.
And he's like kind of portly.
Yeah, he's portly, but he's also got good calf muscles.
Yeah. It's one of those things like, yeah, but you didn't have to say it. Like,
yeah,
I know.
Right. It's painful. Yeah. I was going to say comedian was a big one because like every great sort of, that there's these bringers. I don't know if you ever did bringers, but sometimes you would get feedback at the end of a bringer at a comedy show.
What is a bringer?
Bringer is where you have to get on a professional comedy show at a club. I say professional. You get on a comedy club show, but the only prerequisite is that you bring X amount of people.
Right. So you bring
seats.
6 people, you can get 10 minutes of
Yeah.
stage time.
And then also after the fact, you'll get to talk to an agent, manager, scout, whatever it is, right?
Right.
That's how I got my agent. So they will give you scathingly honest feedback, much of which is don't do this to yourself. There's no way back. Just stop now, be an actor or something, go back. Like saying to someone, be an actor instead as like a better option.
That's the fallback career.
That's you got a better chance of hosting a reality show. Yeah. So stop now.
Hey, listen, the NBA is not for you.
Yeah.
Have you tried Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I've tried MLB. Yeah. That like he said I'll never make it as a comedian or a dancer.
No, dance is funny.
I think dance is funny because it's more the stakes are higher and it's more intense,
also
more competitive.
Yeah.
And there's just that pre-existing. I think it's funny. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you're so uncertain about it.
I just think it's a bit hacky
think it
with
works.
painless dentistry written in the background. That's what I'm balking at.
Pain-free.
Or what? No, just telegraphing what.
Yeah. I know it's a bit C-say. It's a bit SS. Have we explained? Look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but I still think it's got legs.
I don't know the way around it. That's the issue.
Yeah. All right. I can draw my way out of that bag, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on how it's. If it's one of those things where, what's not true, and then you go back, then maybe that'll kind of get us out of jail.
Right. This is the NDA has lapsed and I'm able to share this information. I had to do a bunch of gag cartoons for a corporate, I'm a shill. Sometimes advertisers for the New Yorker will say, hey, instead of us putting a graphic design photographic ad or whatever in the New Yorker, we want someone to design cartoons like an ad that's basically looks like a New Yorker cartoon.
Oh, and people are, and so it's like a cocktail party, and there's two people and a bear, and one of the people is saying, "If only I'd brought my medicated pads."
Yes, Nopraxamil or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. It's all this medicine.
It's all pharma. It's all pharmaceutical stuff. But one of them
The caption's extra long because it's all the side effects.
One of the gags that died at the end was for an insurance company, and it was for their new dental. They had an expanded range of dental, and it was someone laying back in the chair, the dental, what do you call it, hygienist?
Yeah.
And then the dentist sort of going, say Aetna. And that was like, that's the one, like that was probably the worst of all of them. Of a range of
but the
pretty
thing
bad.
is the dentist never gets you to say
Never. Not once in the history of time has my dentist ever asked
You
me
just say
to say
I just want to see what it would have been like if I'd become a doctor.
Exactly. Because the doctor puts the pad on the tongue and says, say, The dentist doesn't do that.
Not once.
Not one time.
And if it did, I'd be like, I don't think you're the person for this job.
And this is why ad execs shouldn't write comedy. So, anyway, just a slight dig. Go on.
I've got two kind of like football post-match interview. You know, they do the post-match interview where they interview one of the guys from the winning team, one of the people from the losing team.
Some of my favorite cartoons are post-match.
So post-match interview, it's on TV. We can see that it's on TV, and we know that the person on television is the one kind of speaking. And then in the foreground, the guy that's watching the television is really like crestfallen, and he's like looking really upset. And then maybe his flatmate is there, like kind of consoling and being like, "I'm sorry," kind of thing, with a laundry hamper. And the player is saying, "Yeah, we felt like we could have won if Derek had just worn his lucky jersey."
The jersey Goldie Boy is just
Something
dangling
along
out
those,
of the washing hamper.
Yeah.
Does he look, is he squinting with resentment? Is he glaring at his housemate?
Oh, it's just like they can't
fault?
understand. They're like, Derek always wears his
Derek
lucky
always
jersey.
wears like a jersey. Yeah. That's the only reason. It's the only correlation we could find.
We went into this game with high hopes.
Why couldn't he wear it? Is it because it wasn't clean?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was like in the washing hamper, or
he put it on hot, dry, like
what?
put it in the dryer, it's too small.
Maybe it was too small. Something has happened to the.
Okay, this is the Jerry Seinfeld Goldie Boy lucky T-shirt.
Yeah. Baby blue.
But yeah. So whenever a joke like this happens, every part of my being now punches in on how can it be misinterpreted, right? Like,
really?
But because so many, and I blame the comment section really, because people will throw, they'll look at an image and then they'll focus on the wrong bit, right? And it's on them for sure, but it's also on the cartoonist. Compositionally, you can direct the eye to where you want them to go. So, in my head, the TV is the hero. You see that first, right? And then as you wind your way above and to the right, you see the housemate with the washing basket and the shirt sort of hanging over the edge.
You can see it's a football
and
shirt
it's got
with the number
same,
or whatever. Yeah.
There's not the number. It has the same logo as the guy on the screen.
Whatever. Yeah.
It's like a bear or something. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's in the, let's call it a lazy boy, watching. He's just
Sure.
crestfallen.
Yeah.
But he's 400 pounds. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Got his.
Sorry, guys, I let you down. Because the meta kind of observation is like, you're doing nothing.
You're doing nothing.
Yeah.
This
thing that you are, like, you have your own superstitions around these other dudes doing stuff.
I have to say, though, anytime we went to Phoebe's to watch your Bengals, they did pretty well.
Well, yeah, but I think
there's a correlation
I didn't
there.
claim responsibility.
Pretty sure there's a correlation there.
Do you know what the correlation was? Is they signed Joe Burrow.
There you go.
And he is a generational quarterback.
Fair enough.
Okay, another football one.
Go on.
The big one is there's always a lot of thanking the man upstairs, and the post-match, the guy is obviously the losing guy.
Right.
And he goes, well, it's like the winning team's coach said, God really wanted us to lose today. Because if God wanted me to win, that means he
100%.
must have wanted them to lose.
Yep, that's it.
I don't mind that. I think it's a bit pointed though. Okay,
yeah, that's good.
This is the last one. Classic camping situation. Campfire, old like tents that are just, triangles on the ground and just old 60s Boy Scout looking thing. Kind of friends all gathered around, maybe sitting on a log.
Okay.
And one of them is saying, aside from the discomfort, inability to regulate temperature, insects, horrible food, threat of bears, lack of bathrooms and privacy, increased risk of emergency, general isolation and travel time, camping is really great.
Outback Steakhouse Pick-of-the-Week.
Yeah,
that's a banger. That's a banger. That's great.
I was just trying to think, we need to add more things.
No notes. I think we have certainly not the longest caption, because the New Yorker used to have
I was thinking about this.
ridiculously long captions back in the day. I was corrected by Michael Maslin, who probably is has the most encyclopedic knowledge of New Yorker cartoons.
Take that, Ellis Rosen.
Yeah. Well, just historically speaking.
Now you're saying Ellis is a Johnny come lately.
He is a Johnny. But
he's actually become a bit of an Instagram
he's quite big, yeah.
influencer.
And he also posts quite often, and he'll do a lot of slideshows. Anyone who hasn't seen Ellis J. Rosen's Instagram, go look. He's one of the funniest, most
great.
consistently funny, and definitely similar idiotic sense of humor as you and I.
He had a banger the other day, which was a guy. It was his birthday. There were birthday cards all over the thing. Did you see this? And you're looking over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's a ransom note. It's like cut out.
Yeah.
Like letters from magazines to the thing. And it said, "I'm coming for you." And his wife goes, "You got so many nice birthday cards. Why focus on the negative one?"
I guarantee you that came from a conversation with his wife, Megan.
Yeah.
It's nothing but great comments in his Instagram. And then there's one that goes, not funny.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's the one Ellis focuses on. His probably my favorite Ellis Rosen cartoon is the one of the gentleman he reuses him a few times, but he's just in glasses in a sweater, just sort of vacuuming. And above his head is a thought bubble, and it's just a streamer, a big ticker tape parade, and a banner that just says, "Ned helped out."
Ned helped out. That was great.
Which has become a meme. I don't know too many New Yorker cartoonists who have become a meme, but it's become a meme.
Oh, nice. All right, you got some jokes?
I do have some jokes, and before I do, I know that we will often we don't tailor jokes and humor to specific publications, because ultimately publications come and go, but you write for what you think is funny, right? Ideally. You might tailor language once in a while to a publication or an audience, but for the most part, if it doesn't sell at one place, we'll pitch it somewhere else. Although I have to say, there have been some. The New Yorker has a reputation, right? The New Yorker has a reputation as this sort of Upper West Side New York erudite, sort of very, literate.
Wanky.
Okay, wanky is the word. You should notice how I was circling the airport on that one.
I cleared you for landing.
Thank you.
Get yourself in here, hotshot.
Right. There's LaGuardia for you. All right. And I noticed that increasingly, I got a New York Times subscription for free because it's the only way I'd see it. I got a New York Times subscription, and the headlines...
The failing New York Times?
Yeah, sorry, I think you'll find it's the failing New York Times. And the headlines are becoming... I'm noticing... I don't know if there was an exodus from the New Yorker to the New York Times.
Oh, really?
But the headlines at the New York Times are becoming increasingly like those of the New Yorker magazine. So I don't know if the New York Times is cosplaying as the New Yorker once in a while, but Scott, would you like to read that headline out just for me?
That can't be real.
It's real.
How to host a lunch like a Parisian gallerist.
It's like a joke.
That's
it's like
impossible.
a joke.
No.
I swear to God, that's not even the worst one.
Can I tell you?
This is new.
Just speaking of headlines.
Yeah.
Can I just share one that I found? So I don't know if I talk to you about this. It was Taylor Swift has been on tour and she was on tour in Australia and
Okay.
it was all that anyone was talking about in the
Sure.
press and stuff. And it was very obvious that Taylor Swift was getting clicks on news websites.
Of course she was.
So if you could insert Taylor Swift to a story somehow.
I think I saw this.
And this is the number one. It's the travel section from the Sydney Morning Herald, the newspaper of record in the biggest city in the country.
I just realised where I saw this. It was on your threads.
This is the headline from the travel hotel review.
Yep.
If Taylor Swift were here, she'd be staying in one of these knockout corner suites. And it's about a hotel in Japan.
If she was staying
If she was, it was like something that like. It's something that Kent Brockman would do.
From this
I'm
Ion
sure,
Springfield.
I'm sure if Bruce Springsteen was here, he would listen to this. Like,
Oh my God. So, oh my God, that's insane. So, in February.
I clicked.
Yeah, of course you did. February of 2024, there were a record 166 articles just in February in the New York Times. Just in the New York Times of any publication, just New York, 166 in 1 month with Taylor Swift in the headline. Just to and someone at Cafe Anne on Substack, Anne Cadet, she basically logged every single one. Very few of them have anything to do with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, right.
But it's just like
that tenuous
clickbaity,
link.
oh, these are getting traction, so we have to tailor it to the algorithm. Pardon the
Once
pun.
you find yourself in that algorithm as a celebrity,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get out.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Which is
It's an argument for getting out of the fucking algorithm.
which is fine if you are Taylor Swift and most of the stories skew positive. But if you find yourself like George Santos, for instance.
Oh my God.
Who is don't get me
human
wrong,
meme.
endlessly interesting.
Yeah.
Like he really is. He's a
Psychologically
fascinating
speaking, yeah,
person.
sure.
But there's a disproportionate interest in him on a national media level.
Absolutely.
And which is it's kind of an interesting.
I would say internationally at this point.
But it's an interesting broader question as to who's leading who here, because there's been an interesting conversation happening recently about it's not a journalist's. A journalist should be reporting on things that are in the public interest, not necessarily what the public is interested in.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's the old.
This is where you get these disproportionate. Like, if Taylor Swift had ever been here, we think she probably would have enjoyed this ice cream. Like, who gives a shit, dude?
You're absolutely right. It's a mess.
All right, what are your jokes?
Okay, so here's the first one. It was just Easter Sunday this past weekend.
Yeah.
Blessed be. And I just thought it would be kind of funny to have a title at the top of the cartoon that says critical mass, and it's Statler and Waldorf in a church looking down at the procession. The
That's
procession.
fine. You know what? Critical Mass
Critical
would be
Mass.
a great name for a website that reviews churches. And you go around and you're like, Father Jason, like, man, he talked about acceptance, bro.
Oh my God, Kanye, he killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
I mean, I was being kind. So
I like, Critical Mass.
critical math. I don't know. Critical math. I don't know what. I just got a lisp all of a sudden, but critical math just became.
You sound very cute. You sound like one of the little rascals.
I sound like someone from Stranger Things. Okay, so we talked about
Probably you sound like the one with the lisp from Stranger Things. If it were like to get specific about which one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's funny. Anyway. Here's something in this. we were talking about pistols at dawn versus
high noon.
High noon.
And for us, that was a genuine noodle scratcher.
It really was. For a hot minute
what could
there.
be the big difference?
Yeah. Here's the joke. It's someone, and he's on one of those old timey telephones.
Yep. I know the one.
And he's got his pistols by his side.
Sure.
Going, hey, can we push to pistols at 3? Is that
That's funny. That's funny. Oh, I was trying to think of a joke about
push? Yeah.
like we're getting to the point where we're doing shifts with the kid, right? Like, all right, you'll do this and that. And the idea of calling in and like getting someone to cover your shift, like, is there something in that for that? Like,
yeah.
like he's ringing around and being like, hey, do you mind I can't make the duel. Do you mind covering for me? Or,
I know that you said you wouldn't work noon again, but I swear to God, I can cover your noon next week if you just do my pistols.
honestly, dude, I've done 3 dawns. I just don't have a high noon in me.
It's a very radio sounding shift. Okay, so there's 2 things that I want to bounce off you, and they're both social media related, so strap in. Do you know what?
Sorry to go back to that thing.
Yeah.
If he's on the phone, maybe getting confirmation.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's saying,
yeah.
wait, so is high noon? Because
daylight savings. Is there a daylight savings joke in? I mean, I was there at noon.
yeah,
Didn't you wind your clock back? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, time zones or something.
Yeah, early daylight savings blunders.
Yeah.
Pistols at 1.
All right, sorry.
I love a good cowboy joke. And I drew one up that I'm pitching again. Sometimes, a joke won't hit for whatever reason. Timing sometimes, but, you'll throw a gag back in the batch just to see if it works. And one of them was yours, which was 2 cowboys at high noon, and instead of guns, they've got phones, and yours is, no, you hang up first.
Oh, my God.
It's so silly. It's funny, though. It looked funny. Okay, so do you know what the golden ratio is?
It almost looks like a snail's shell that is placed over various images.
Fact, that's the exact shape. That is the snail shell is the golden ratio.
Right.
Fibonacci. Davinci was famous for using it in paintings to.
Yeah, and what did he ever do?
I know, right? What a loser. It's overrated. And okay, so that's the golden ratio. Now, what's it used for? Just for the uninformed like me. I know what it is. I've got no idea what it's used for. So it's used in engineering. It's also used in painting and composition, and it's used in all kinds of things actually, which is kind of interesting. And it's had a real interesting history. I'm sure if you engram it, it's had quite a journey. But I mean, personally, I actually use it, and it becomes subconscious after a while, to direct the eye around an image. Like, I want people in a gag to see certain things at certain times before they look down at the caption, then look back at the image. Sure. A little bit high-minded, but whatever. And then sort of, it's just the way the human brain looks from top to bottom, left to right of an image. And it's almost like a cyclical thing. And then how's it applied in engineering or other things? I think it's building measures of strength, areas of strength. Right. It's a lot of triangles as well. So there's triangles and squares, and it's a whole thing. And honestly, I have to say I'm a real dilettante here because there's so much more to it, and I'm not an engineer. But I know that it factors into much. Sure, right. Even city planning. Paris, I think, is in a Fibonacci. It's crazy. Anyway, you find a river, Fibonacci around it. Anyway, London, Paris, New York. Anyway, so do you know when you kind of go viral for good and bad reasons, usually bad, on, say, Twitter, X, it's called getting ratioed. Yes, right? Yeah. So it's Davinci sitting in his chair, he's just defeated, slumped in his chair, hands over the eye, exhausted. And then his painting assistant is talking to the patron who's just walked in to see what's going on. Why is he finishing the paintings? He just got golden ratioed. Oh, yeah. Too many levels, too many things for people to know what they are. Is it too in, the idea of being ratioed? It might be.
It's pretty
do well on
internet-y.
Reddit. It'll do well on Reddit.
Yeah, that's right.
Versus a magazine.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I know the New Yorker and other magazines have been trying to throw in references from, let's call it internet culture, which now is just culture. Unfortunately, it just leaks its way out of the computer into the wider vernacular. But like getting ratioed,
I think it's well known enough.
enough. I think the word enough is...
So, yeah. So then, but what is it like?
So
What's
if
the
you've ever been
practicality?
ratioed...
No, but what's the practicality in this sense? Like, what is being golden ratio?
Right.
Like, how do we explain? How do we show that?
So here's the key: there's a window, or rather, a hole in the wall that has a pretty basic sort of looking wooden structure. But coming through the window in a big pile is a bunch of scrolls, just like a whole bunch of scrolls. Which are the equivalent
so it is
to Twig.
literally him being.
He's just been reading endless scrolls of just like, fuck you, oh, you piece of shit, you're garbage, oh, kill yourself, that kind of thing.
I've started fighting back at people on Threads.
Stop it. You can't do it. It's an unwinnable...
I just do one every now and then. So
just like a little...
just a little like, hey, don't come here. You were bringing a
You
knife.
get it more than
You were bringing a knife to a gunfight.
a lot of people I know.
So I had one which was, I was asking about this cinnamon Coca-Cola.
Okay.
There was a cinnamon Coke.
No, of
and
course. It was very popular for a while.
Yeah, and I could never find it. I could never figure out if it was real or if you could still buy it and stuff. So I just put on Threads like, am I crazy? This thing existed. Did you try it? What was it like? And this dude wrote, you could have Googled this. To which I responded, and you could have shut the fuck up, but here we are.
The irony of telling you that you could have Googled it.
I was going to hit him with the big gun. I was going to hit him on the big gun. But
Economy Candy in the Lower East Side?
Yes.
Cinnamon Coke. They do. That's where
For
I
real?
had it. For 100%. I had Cinnamon Coke at Economy Candy. Couldn't tell you if it had expired or not, but I had it. It didn't taste great.
yeah.
But it was there. Yeah, it was in like a limited edition.
Have you noticed
can.
all those like limited edition things?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's carbonated cough medicine, every flavor.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's, I think, marzipan or cherry. It's one of the two.
Yeah, marzipan. That's a
marzipan
specific
or cherry.
taste. Yeah.
Anyway, getting golden ratio, just him getting buried alive in scrolls.
I'm just wondering if the golden
very
ratio
internet-y.
could be more
Right.
if it actually.
I want to draw the cartoon in the golden ratio. I want to compose it in such a way. I'm disappearing up my own ass as we speak. But I want to compose the image in such a way that it is within the golden ratio also. And then in the background, you've got Vitruvian Man, which has also got this whole, symmetrical measurement thing of the Davinci sketchbooks in it.
That's funny.
It's getting very there was my favorite Arnold Roth cartoon is just the auditioning for Vitruvian Man. It's just these like little fat guys and a tall skinny guy and a weird bulky guy all lining up with Davinci kind of going, next.
What if
like a
there's
line
a
of
joke in Davinci being criticized for setting unrealistic Vitruvian body images?
Vitruvian Dysmorphia.
Yeah.
I think we have an episode titled
Yeah.
Vitruvian Dysmorphia. That's not bad, actually, because...
Something along those lines, because he was seen as the ideal specimen in a way, like we
No,
look back
literally.
at it.
Not
Yeah.
in a way. Like, literally, that was the whole idea of Da Vinci's... He would dissect cadavers. Like, he would find what the average musculature and size... Like, even the proportion of a hand to a wrist to the radius and the ulna and the everything. That was his whole deal, to find the perfect mathematical formula for what the human man should look like. And
That's what he said. He was caught. And they're like, hey, Leo, mate, another one's gone missing. We know what you're up to. He's like, no, I'm working on something. And he's so much smarter than everyone, he can just lie.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to check the... You've been spending a lot of time with the asses, I noticed.
Don't make Da Vinci jokes about asses.
What do you mean?
He was almost murdered for sodomy. He was almost, I say murdered. He was almost executed for sodomy. He was
Oh, so if
Rescued
the
by-
shoe fits.
up the ass. I don't know if the shoe fits. Anyway, I don't know if there's something there. I thought I'd bounce it off you. By the way, I'm wondering if the Roomba joke is marinated or if it still needs a bit more
I've
brewing.
been thinking about that, yeah.
There was a meditation thing, you know, like how they have these yoga studios and they have they try and get people in and try and get people to be mindful, and a big banner saying "Be here now." I thought it'd be kind of funny to have a bar next door with like the A-frame, like because you've got a dive near you, which is great. It's just like a no holds bar.
Oh, across the road there. Yeah.
And there's just an A-frame, and they can't be bothered coming up with something clever. It just says games. That's
it.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thought.
Yeah.
It'd be great if there's a "Be here now" in the yoga studio. And next door is the bar. It just says "Beer
Here now.
here now," or just "Beer now." Also,
Beer now.
beer later.
Beer now, yeah.
Be here now.
What if
Beer
it's
here.
be here later?
Oh, that's not bad. Be here now. Be here later.
Be here after that.
That's not bad. There could be something. Be here now. Be here now later. Yeah. Yeah, there's something. All right, there's something there. And that was in Brooklyn, of course. Of course it was. By the way, just speaking of Ellis Rosen, he got a DMCA takedown notice from the MTA for a New Yorker cartoon.
Which was the MTA
So
is the transit
Metropolitan
Authority.
Transportation Authority in New York. So the subway, basically. He did a parody of like the service changes. Like there's anyone who travels in New York, especially now, every 5 seconds the MTA has a new delay or service change. So there's a sign and it has the subway line, and then it'll say, "Oh, the 2 train is going back to school to pursue a career in massage therapy.
Right.
The F train has blah, blah, blah. You know, the L train's taking 3 years off to find itself." So it's a parody, and it falls into the grey area parody. But the MTA are trying to get it taken
On what ground?
on the grounds that he's using the 2 train and the F and the L and the imagery of the MTA. And it's like, well, it clearly falls under parody. But this is wild that they've gone to the trouble. A DMCA is no bullshit. Like
Have you ever had one?
Yeah, you've got to go to some trouble.
I had one for the trailer for my stand-up special
Oh, really? Why?
by the
MTA?
record company that put this special out. It was put out through Warner,
Why did they?
and I used a Warner artist on the trailer.
Yeah,
And they said, "Look, there's a copyright claim here."
but they put out.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Why it's just left hand wasn't speaking to the right hand? It's like one of my worst MTA cartoons. MTA workers at home. Stand clear of the closing drawers, please. He's just closing some drawers. Yeah, you shouldn't because it's bad.
I didn't mind that joke.
It's pretty silly. How are we going with Christmas Tree Watch 2024?
Oh, there's been a huge update, right?
Go on.
Huge update. So
Go on.
if you are listening for the first time, there is in my apartment, you could just look straight across into other apartments.
Sure.
And what we've been looking at was a Christmas tree that was up until, well into February. But someo's moved in next door.
What do you mean someone's moved in
and you
next door?
can
Oh, and next door to you to the place.
across the thing.
Oh, okay. You really are rear windowing this whole thing.
So if you have a look across there, there's a person that's moved in, and in the window, they have an Emmy award.
What do you mean they have an Emmy in the window?
I don't know how I can simplify that statement.
An actual Emmy?
Yeah, if
How much
if
is
only
that
there was a way
Emmy
for you
in
to
the window. What the hell? What's it for? Is it a daytime Emmy?
I don't know.
You,
It's-
what?
I
You
can
don't
just-
have a telescope to find these details out? What's it for?
for masturbating? Oh, not the
Oh,
telescope.
okay.
Yeah, so isn't that interesting?
It's bizarre, but yeah, it's interesting. What? Yeah, wow. So you've really got quite the thing happening across the street there. Okay, is there something in this? It's the National Society of Straight Men, and the guy walks in and he's pratfalled into the room, and they just said, "Next room."
Oh, yeah.
No. It's across the hall. So there's the National Association.
No,
of
I
Straight
know,
Men
I
and
know.
National Association of I guess clowns, because in comedy there's clowns and straight men.
What's the funny man and the straight? Yeah.
There's a straight man. But I'm wondering if it's going to get misinterpreted as straight as
So this
sexual
is what
preference.
the first thing I was thinking of like a guy like bringing his wife. No, we meant in the comedy sense. This is my wife.
He's like very straight-laced little.
Yeah.
Looks very straight.
But he's very gay, like still at the same time. It's clearly a beard.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh no, I'm definitely here for.
Yeah.
Well, okay then. Could I have some coffee at least? Yeah, that's fun. So I don't know what it is about the National Association of Straight Men. It just tickled me. The idea that someone's pratfallen into that room,
Or is there
in a college basement,
or is there a joke in like a Republican walk? No, not like that.
as in straight men,
Like a Republican's walking in. No, the National Society of Straight Men. I'm in the right place. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because
No,
you
I
know how they're kind of,
They are.
they're not the most inclusive group.
All right. 2 more,
Sure.
both internet related.
Good.
Are you aware of the term glowies?
No.
Okay. Do you know what the term "you're glowing" means?
I mean, I'm going to say no because you wouldn't ask otherwise.
Okay. And this is another piece of like, I know we've discussed this before, but the infinite fragmentation of people's reference points. There's no more consensus comedy because everyone's reference points
that's a really good
are
point.
so fractured.
Yes.
And so you'll say a thing and then sometimes even you and I, we have very similar reference points, but even sometimes you and I go, what is that? What is that?
And I'll be like, oh, is it a sex club?
Yeah.
You weren't there.
Which is why I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
I'm a virgin. So you're glowing is like a term. It's basically, it refers to being part of an undercover sting operation, particularly one run by American federal agencies. So like...
I thought it was
slang.
going to be something to do with like, you're pregnant. Like,
Okay, so traditionally it's, you're glowing.
Yeah.
You know, federal agents also. So it's a far right. I guess it's a far right thing for the most part because the internet and whatever.
right.
Is
Is it like if you're about to be
crazy-
swatted?
Yeah, it's like, what's the other term? Not swatted, but the other one, getting not doxed. I guess swatted is pretty much.
It's where they send
a SWAT team
teams
to your
by
house
lying
once
about
you get
what
hacked,
you're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's used by the far right to refer to federal agents. Federal agents, also known as federal police officers, responsible for handling matters of domestic and national security, investigating terrorism. So if it becomes
And you will
apparent,
go around to everyone that sees this joke in the New Yorker and explain all this
Of
stuff.
course I
to
would. Of course I preface it with this. Of course. Well, the reason is that it's been co-opted by people making fun of the far right. So this is the only time the right and the left speak, is when one parodies the other
Sure.
for being stupid.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it happens both ways. So you're glowing is like if someone's trying to really hang out, like, hello, fellow kids, like very Steve Buscemi in
Oh, right.
in 30 Rock. Kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
fellow skateboarder.
Yeah.
And it's an FBI agent, and someone's saying, you're glowing. She's like clearly got the sunglasses and the thing and the earpiece. Someone saying,
I
"You're
don't know.
glowing."
I'm going to...
It's
that's
too-
not
too
well
many
known
levels?
enough. Yeah, I don't think that's nearly well known enough.
Okay. All right. I always thought, you're glowing, well known enough for pregnancy, but then the other side.
No,
of
the
things-
other side is I don't know. I understand it for pregnancy.
No, because you're my litmus test for any of this stuff. Okay. Last one.
We
again.
have previously established that I am a reclusive shut-in, so I'm not
You
sure.
are also the only person I know who replies to the comments. So
Oh, well, every now and then, just
Yeah.
a little flex.
You just have a dip. You have a little flutter.
Swat them away.
Okay. When one kind of goes a bit viral on TikTok or YouTube or whatever,
Sure.
what's the term?
I don't know.
Blowing up.
Oh, okay.
So it's a couple of kids now, the big aspiration. You ask any of them, what do you want to be when you grow up? They usually say YouTube influencer. That's probably across several different polls. It's probably the most commonly answered is across sort of ages 8 through 12 is what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? It's either influencer or YouTuber.
Cool.
Yeah. TikTokers will be next. But so it's a couple of kids playing and no one says, what do you want to be when you blow up?
Yeah.
Now, I have to acknowledge that in doing research for that, because I thought, it's been done. Also, it's a little bit whatever. Joe Data has one, which is very funny, which I think is darker and is probably one of the better what do you want to be when you X, right? Which was these two kids just saying, what do you want to be when you give up?
Oh, yeah. I remember that joke.
which has done the round. Like it's a solid joke.
I mean, look, is there something, and this is really dark, but is there something like a suicide bomber?
Yeah, okay, so that was obviously the first out the window.
Yeah.
Like a Russian dissident, that joke just kind of immediately got.
Do you remember the Onion headline, which was suicide bomber given shittiest car possible?
There were so many great Onion headlines around 2005 with that. 3 through 5, some of the best. Okay, so we're going to go to listener suggestions.
Sure.
And I have to say that we're getting great. Thank you for sending in. It's we can't read them all. So if you do want to send them in, jasonchatfieldcomedy@gmail.com, or is there something in this .substack.com, and just DM us through that. That way we'll actually see them, be able to actually read them.
How's the Substack going?
Great.
I get
Lots of
emails.
followers.
Yeah,
very
no, it's
fun.
good. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
You do a great job. I just want that. Because I do
Yes,
nothing.
Nothing to do with it. So, Will Uddle in London was saying how much he's enjoying the pod being back. He used to listen years ago.
Thanks, Will. Hey, can we do this? We need to have a moratorium on the praise at the beginning of the email.
I'll tell you
Don't you
why.
think it's a bit?
Well,
we don't
the
have
reason
to
I
say,
say
keep
it
the praise,
is
but-
that he says it's great visualizing the sketches you guys are talking about. It's also a nice current affairs update, as I don't watch the news. And I said, if you're getting your fucking news from Is There Something in This?
Will, can we just, and we say this as a friend and as someone that I assume is quite like-minded, please don't vote. You were dangerously uninformed. If I am providing any information.
Okay, so we have this week's listener suggestion from MVP, Nelsonic. Some of the best suggestions
Nelsonic.
we've had. Is there something in this? Bougie Hampton's house, Long Island, on fire. Posh woman, homeowner, dishevelled out the front, perhaps holding her pug / Frenchie. Ash, soot on her face, standing next to the fire truck. Fire chief asking, tap or sparkling?
Oh, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Tap or sparkling? I mean, I think I've done 8 tap or still or sparkling
Still or
jokes.
sparkling.
But they're infinitely refillable. Pardon the pun. Yeah. Is that funny? Like it's a fire truck in the Hamptons, still and sparkling. Is that
Yeah.
I think that might be something.
I do like that joke.
Or Upper West Side, Upper East Side.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it could just be the hydrants.
Oh, hydrant in the Upper East Side?
It's
still
like
sparkling?
the sign of gentrification is when they put the sparkling hydrant in.
That's good. Yeah, the hydrant, I think. That's a much cleaner way. Because I had the water towers. Do you remember the New York water towers?
That's right. Yeah,
Were still and
yeah.
sparkling. What I failed to do was actually locate them. Sort of show that it was in the Upper East Side or, like a fancy part of like Tribeca or whatever, which probably would have elevated the joke just a little bit. He said, all right, you were talking about baby jokes last week.
Yeah,
babies
yeah,
at bars
yeah.
and things. Okay.
Yeah.
2 babies at a cafe.
Yep.
They look quite stylish and trendy. Looks as if one is telling a juicy story. And he's saying, I was literally without words.
That's a much better version, I think, of the one I had last, which was like,
What was that?
It was the best thing I've ever seen in my life,
In
which
my
means
entire
nothing
life.
coming from me.
Which admittedly,
But that's a much better joke.
Yeah, I think that's
That-
really
yeah,
funny.
that-
Just the idea of 2 babies. You go, I was literally lost without words.
What about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Is speechless more?
Oh, yeah, literally speechless.
But without
Baby
words
speechless.
is kind of funnier.
Without words says speechless without throwing the word speechless in there, I think.
I mean, either way, that's a very funny.
It's
joke.
a great, yeah. And he said
Yeah.
the alt is just at the front of the busy coffee shop line giving an order to the barista. 3/4 macchiato with a dash of breast, please. It's just the idea of just a regular macchiato with a
Yeah.
squeeze of tit.
Yeah.
That really is for you. He really
Thank you,
is.
no, I appreciate
Nelsonic is really catering to the father aspect here. Very, very current, up to the minute. If you want to send in your suggestions, as I say, send them in, jasonchatfieldcomedy@gmail.com, or go to istheresomethingin this.substack.com and subscribe, share. Please, if you review the show on iTunes, I know I should have said this at the front of the show, I always forget. If you review the show on iTunes and it's a 5-star review and it's kind of funny, we might read it. We might. I can't guarantee, but please.
Review the show on
Here's the
iTunes.
thing. I appreciate that. The people that listen to this are like us.
Idiots.
But they're not going to be like, oh, maybe I'll read my thing out.
Maybe we'll read my thing on the internet show.
But do it.
But similar to the suggestions, some of them are bangers. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Give us a harsh review as long as it's funny.
Maybe
and
we should
5
do
stars.
the listener suggestions in the iTunes comments.
Is that a good way to get some reviews? So
It's a way.
it's a way.
It's good
It's a
remains to
way.
be seen.
Yeah, actually, that's not bad. Yeah, if you want to send a listener suggestion in, all right, let's try this. Go to the episode and just put it in the comments.
But
Put it in the
it's
comments.
we're not going to read anything that's not accompanied with 5 stars. It seems so cynical.
All right. It's very mercenary and cynical, but I like it. I still like it. That's great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's see you back here next week.
Can we say the thing yet?
No, not yet. Not until the pre-order link. But please go to you'renotareal.com to get our book. YOURE, not a real, not a real.com to get our book. All right, let's finish it. All right, let's.
Au revoir.
See ya.